Hi guys, my name is Ashwin and today I'm going to make a basil and pine nut pesto. So starting from the bottom here, we've got pine nuts, mixed herbs, thyme, basil, oregano, dried red chilies, and 30 grams of basil from the stalks, cut from the stalks. Then we've got Parmesan cheese and garlic. And I forgot sun-dried tomatoes. Right, so first you're going to take some olive oil and your basil. I've cut these from the stalk, so you just stick it on your cutting board and just start finely dicing these basil, like so. As you dice this basil, be careful with the knife because you could very easily cut your finger, or many fingers, or your hand for that matter. Now, as you chop it, you can see, it's getting like to a paste. That's good. All of the basil leaves should turn to this. And then once this is done, you can start adding your oil and your pine nuts, chilies, sun-dried tomatoes, Parmesan cheese, and others. Right, now, a splash of oil. That's it. And then, continue chopping. And on. And on. Right, now, you guessed it, more olive oil. One bag of basil can serve up to 2 people, so be careful with the amount of basil you're using. Right, now, that's done for now. Now we're going to take 1 or 2 garlic, just cut them. Be careful with this part. You can very easily slice off your fingertips. And now, back to chopping. This may seem like a lot of garlic at first, but when we add all the other flavors, the Parmesan cheese, salt, pine nuts, chilies, it'll dilute it. And plus I like my pesto quite garlicky, so you can change the amount of garlic you want. It's all up to taste, really. Right, so next, chop some dried red chilies in. If you don't want to, you can take out the seeds, but I prefer a little bit of a kick. So, yeah, I'm gonna keep the seeds. Some people use a pestle and mortar to mix this, crush them, but I prefer the knife because it gives a nice chunky texture. And after a little bit of cutting, more olive oil. Now, after that, take some pine nuts. And using the flat of your knife, crush them. This really opens up the flavor and the creaminess of the pine nuts. Some people decide to toast the pine nuts before, but I don't like that because it takes away the creaminess and the texture and the nice bold nuttiness of the pine nuts itself. And after you've crushed them, continue chopping. And then, after you've chopped up your pine nuts, take your grater and your Parmesan cheese and grate a lot of the cheese over the pesto itself. You'll be surprised at how much cheese this can hold, especially if you've got a lot of oil. It really brings out the flavor and everything else. Now that should be enough cheese for a while. And now, just using a knife, just mix it in. Don't worry if it gets dry because we're gonna add more olive oil. You can see when the more and more ingredients I'm adding, the lighter and lighter the color becomes. That's a sign that you're making good progress. And the more and more ingredients I'm using, the more and more nuts I'm using, the less and less I'm cutting them, which means that you get a full range of textures from both the smoothness of the basil to the chunkiness of the pine nuts. After chopping this for about 5-10 minutes, this is how it should look. And just a quick tip on the pine nuts. If you can't get pine nuts or if they're too expensive, you can use walnuts instead. Don't use any other nuts because you don't get that same earthy, nutty texture. But just be careful with walnuts. If you add too much, it becomes too bitter. There's a little brown skin on the walnuts which make it go bitter. And if you use too much, the pesto will ruin. So I've just mixed the partially chopped sun-dried tomatoes in, and then just start cutting as usual. So after adding all the olive oil and some extra Parmesan cheese if you want to, this is how it should look like. This should take about 5 to 10 minutes and 15 minutes if you want to make it smoother. Thanks for watching. Consider liking the video and subscribing for more amazing recipes by Ashwin.